Hey, what's up guys? I hope everyone's doing good. So today we'll be talking about YMAX. So can you retire on YMAX? Is it a viable investment? Personally, I freaking love YMAX. It's one of my favorite ETFs and I find it's one of the most exciting ones out there because it's kind of risky, but it's kind of not risky at the same time, and it can really easily boost your portfolio's income without really damaging your NAV. If you look at the performance of it, like it's been doing pretty well since they changed to weekly distribution. So since September of 2024, YMAX have been doing pretty well. So yeah, I'll be talking about YMAX because I just want to show the numbers and kind of what you can get and how you can boost your monthly income with YMAX. So if you want to supplement your income, so if you want $1,000 a month to go spend, to go pay for your credit card or whatever, or if you want to retire early, it is possible with YMAX, I believe. So I did a few calculations and I run some numbers. So yeah, I'll just be making this quick video to show you guys those numbers that I run, and hopefully you guys find this as interesting and as um, yeah, as fun as I think so. So yeah, let's get into it. So according to the Nasdaq website, the average yield of YMAX has been 46%. But I did run my own numbers based on the data we have on Yahoo Finance. So here I took all the distributions we have since September, and in total we paid out $4.16, and I calculated the rolling average, and I also have here the average distribution. So I calculated the average of all the dividends, the single weekly dividends that we received, and it is 18 cents and 9 whatever, and the median is 18 cents and 5. So the median and the average are pretty close. So this is cool for like forecasting and numbers. So they're pretty close. So we can, I guess we could, I just used the average for my numbers. So now, how do you retire on YMAX? So I just did a few scenarios, and I believe that if you want to retire on any fund, you shouldn't rely 100% on that fund. So what I mean by that is, if your monthly cost of living is $4,000 right here, I think you need a bit of space, a bit of overhead to be relaxed, because you never know what could happen, and if YMAX has a bad month, then it could leave you strapped up if you've been spending $4,000 and expecting $4,000. I think you need a bit of overhead, like everything in life, like if you go buy a car, I think that if you buy a car cash and you think about, maintenance and everything, you can't just have $30,000 in your account and spend $30,000 on a car. You need to have like 35, 40,000, because you don't know the day after you buy the car, you might be strapped on the side of the highway and you need to pay for to get towed. You need to pay for maintenance. Maybe something will break the day after you buy the car. You don't know what could happen. If you want to move to a place, uh, I don't know, like stack a bit of money, and like when you get there, you'll have to buy furniture or whatever, and then yeah, maybe you did the math for the furniture, but it always ends up costing a bit more than you thought. So that's why I added an overhead of 1.5. So let's say your cost of living is $4,000 a month. I think that with YMAX you would need to generate at least $6,000 a month to comfortably withdraw $4,000 from your investment. So let's say you need $4,000 a month to retire. I'm just running random numbers for fun. Let's say you make $4,000 a month with YMAX. So you need to actually generate 6,000. That would give you a weekly average of 1385, and that would equivalent to 7,326 shares of YMAX. And if you would have bought those shares at the inception price and then you wouldn't have touched anything, then I would assume you would buy those shares for $17.60. So that would be an initial investment of $130,000. So essentially, for $130,000, you have yourself a $4,000 a month cash cow or cash flow machine that's bringing you in $6,000, but you're only using 4K. So that extra 2,000, you can drip it, and you can keep growing your investment and conserve your capital. So yeah, you have like an extra $2,000 overhead. I found this cool testing tool on Reddit. So shout out to the guy who made this. I can put the link in the description of the video if you guys want. So even this spreadsheet, if you guys want it, I can share it to you. I kind of made it dynamic, so based on what you want to make. So let's say you want to make $1,000 a month you need $1,000 a month to supplement your income. Then I calculated the 1.5 year you need to make, the average, and the shares and the investments you would need, right? So if you guys want me to share the spreadsheet, let me know. I would share it with you guys. So yeah, let's say you have an initial investment of $130,000. So what is cool about this tool is that it's a backtesting tool, and it has a cash flow option and a cash flow frequency. So basically, you can have a negative cash flow, which means that this will take into account that you do withdrawals, which is very cool. So let's say you want to withdraw $4,000 a month out of your $130,000 investment into YMAX. So I would do YMAX here, and I would do the S&P 500 here just to compare them. So if you do a backtest here, all right, backtest complete. So as you can see, my ending value for YMAX went up $4,000, even though every month I withdrew $4,000. So that means that my capital was flat, and I had an extra $2,000 of overhead as a safety net that I would be reinvesting into YMAX that would help conserve my capital and even grow my investment. As you can see, when we had a crazy bull run in September, you actually would have made almost $20,000 off of your initial investment even though you'd be withdrawing $4,000 a month, which is pretty crazy. And this is where, income investing is very cool, is because no matter what the market conditions are, you are still getting paid, and you do not have to sell shares, and you have the freedom of reinvesting as much of your distributions as you want. So yes, you make $6,000 a month from YMAX, but you do not need to use that 6,000. You can reinvest the whole thing. You can use $1,000. You can reinvest the whole thing, and then 1 month you have an emergency, then that month you can use the whole distributions to pay your bills, whatever. And as you can see here, compared to selling shares of the S&P, which just drops in value, and it kind of sucks because you just see your investments going down. Here, YMAX was, even recently, how the market's been choppy, it's been able to conserve its value, and it's been able to stay above your initial investment of $130,000, and the S&P is just slowly downtrending. So I think this is very cool, especially that in the recent months, the market condition hasn't been the best, and YMAX has been able to hold up, and we can see that when the market is bullish and goes up, YMAX really thrives. So if YMAX is able to hold down as it is right now, and we wait for a next bull run, then I think YMAX will be really able to recover, and your investment would grow and grow even more, and it might grow to a point where you'd be able to withdraw more than $4,000. So yeah, let's play around with this. So I think 1.5 based on this tool is a good number to kind of conserve your initial investment and be able to live off those dividends. So now let's say $800 here. So let's say you're just a kid, you live at your parents' place, you have a bit of cash sitting on the side, you have a nice car, you're spending like $600 a month on your nice BMW, and you have like $200 of insurance, and you're sick of working like that 9 to 5 job and like basically throwing $800 a month into that depreciating asset, and you wish someone could pay for you, so then you can use your 9 to 5 paychecks to invest more or do other stuff with your money than just pay for your car, right? Well, I just did that scenario here. Like, if you just need an extra $800 a month to pay for something, to boost your income, to chill, whatever, then you would need to make about $1,200 with YMAX. That would equivalent to $275 a week. You would need only 1,465 shares of YMAX, and that would be an initial investment of only 25,000. So this is not a number that is impossible to achieve at all. If you just add in $2,000 a month, in a year you would be able to go there. Or if you just have some cash sitting on the side, you could just throw in some cash and then DCA from there. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. So yeah, let me know if you want this spreadsheet. Here, for example, if you want to make $10,000 a month with YMAX, you want to have $10,000 a month of disposable income for X reason. That's your standard of living. I think it's pretty cheap to say that putting $322,000 down would generate you $1,500 a month, $15,000 a month, which you could be able to withdraw $10,000 safely, and your initial investment would not even drop in value. And if you compare this to the real estate business, for example, if you, I don't know which property you can buy for this amount of money that would generate you $15,000 a month, and this is liquid. And also, if you're able to get to that amount, you probably don't even need $10,000 a month. You could just need $5,000 a month, and then you have an extra 10K that you can just reinvest in YMAX, and your investments will grow faster than you'll be able to spend them, and you just have like unlimited money glitch, you know? You just have unlimited money, and you're not able to spend as fast as your investment is growing. So your investments are just outgrowing your spendings. And this is really where you have like financial security and independence, I think. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll link this in the description if you guys want to play around with this, and let me know if you guys want this to play around with. So yeah, I ran some extra numbers. Wait, before I go into that, let's just compare YMAX from September to now versus the S&P with 10K invested. So yeah, it's a bit what I showed you guys. It comes about to what I showed you guys here. It's a bit like the same graph, but this basically drips everything. So yeah, as you can see, when the market is bullish, YMAX really outshines the S&P, and when the market goes sideways, well, YMAX is able to stay sideways. It's a bit more volatile, but it's not falling to the floor. So yeah, now I ran some other numbers. So I just took the closing prices on a monthly basis of YMAX. So from September to today, February, I took the rolling average of the price. I calculated the differences between every month. Oops. What is this? Let me percentage here. So I calculated the differences between every month. I annualized that performance as well. So then we can do a forecast on 12 months, for example. And I used this average yield of 0.18 cents based on the closing price of every month. I'm just really trying to have a global image. So this is the average yield annualized of YMAX since September based on the monthly data. So I know this is not the most accurate, but I just have a picture. So here, if I take the average yield and the average NAV decline, so the average yield on for my numbers is 59%. Compared to this website, it says 46. And the average NAV decline is minus 29% per year. So yeah, I just took this number and I removed 10%. I took this number and I added 5% of NAV decline, just really to have the worst case and the worst case scenario and the most conservative scenario as possible. So now let's run some forecasting for fun. The only issue with YMAX is that if you see all those videos, it's kind of impossible to forecast, because those tools are more for traditional dividends. So if you have really high yield, this tool kind of goes crazy and starts calculating some insane numbers. So yes, let's say you have a weekly distribution, you do drip your shares, you have an initial investing principal. Let's say you're that kid that just want to pay his car here with a 25K investment. So you have where is it? 25K investment. Let's no taxes, just trying to see the numbers for now, and then from there you add $1,000 a month. So the initial yield is 48%, and then we just assume it drops 29. The price drops 29% a year, and the yield also drops. So this means that if the price goes down 1%, the yield goes down 1%, which means that we're staying at 48% yield. So this tool doesn't start calculating insane numbers. And let's just say we do this for 5 years. So after 5 years, it compounds to 131,000. So I don't know how accurate this is, but it's pretty crazy. And I think it is possible. I think we could make this number, but we would lose a lot of NAV. So I don't know what the total return would actually be. Like for the actual scenario, what would happen in real life. But yeah, so as you can see, if we forecast those kind of scenarios, if we just do not contribute anything then, and we keep those numbers, as you can see, after 10 years of not touching anything, you would be making 250,000 a year. from YieldMax only. So that would be $20,000 a month, which is more than enough to retire. And if you do this by week, because YieldMax is weekly, it would pay you $4,800 a week. So yeah, I mean, take this with a grain of salt. I don't really like this tool for YMAX and those YouTubers who are using this to calculate YMAX returns. I think it always gives like crazy numbers. It's not really conservative. We have to find a way to do this. So yeah, I like this tool more. This is more very realistic because it's just a backtesting tool. So you can make scenarios like, oh, what if I put $100,000 into YMAX and I every month I cash out $4,000 and the rest of the distributions, you have a invest dividends here. The rest of the distributions I reinvest them. Then you have the actual data that is available. You see that you would conserve your NAV, and here let's say you would reinvest everything, and you would not even cash out money. Backtest complete. As you can see, your investment would have grown 20K. $25,000. So yeah, I encourage you guys to play around with this tool. So yeah, I think that's about it. I know I've been rambling a bit, so this is just my second video, so I'm still not the most organized, I guess, but hopefully this was an interesting video. So just trying to see the numbers, if it's possible to retire with YMAX. For me, yes, it is possible, and I think that the thing that people don't understand with YMAX is that it is meant to be reinvested. You cannot put money into YMAX and use everything. You need to reinvest a portion, but it pays so much that you can reinvest a portion and still grow your money, and you can use a big part of your distributions to fund your lifestyle. If you want to use 100% of your distributions and you do not have to worry about the NAV, buy something like XGTE, like SPY-I, like I'm Canadian, so HYLD on the Canadian market. Buy some index-based covered call ETFs that pay between 15 and 20%. I think this is the golden range for capital preservation. I think above 20%, you kind of get choppy, and it's hard to keep up with NAV. It's hard for the underlying asset to keep up with distributions. So I think that above 20-25%, you start to get some NAV erosion. But just understand that YMAX is meant to be reinvested. And there's a lot of people on Twitter that I see who have budgets, like they use 30% of their distributions for life, they keep 15% for taxes at the end of the year, and the rest they reinvest. So kind of play with the numbers, see what works for you, make a plan. Let's say you would really like to make an extra $500 a month that you can use to do anything. Yeah, run those numbers and have fun, guys. So yeah, I mean, until next time, take care. And if you like the video, just let me know, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, support me. Yeah, until next time, take care, guys.